2-Minute Christianity, 50 Big Ideas Every Christian Should Understand. Chapter 31, 25,000 New Testament Manuscripts, Not the Evidence You Might Think. Historians have roughly 25,000 manuscripts of New Testament books, far more than for any other book from ancient history. Compare that with 2,000 copies of Homer's Iliad, the second best represented manuscript. Even more poorly represented are the works of Aristotle, Julius Caesar, Herodotus, and other great figures from ancient history, for which we have closer to a dozen manuscripts each. We don't conclude that our record of Gallic wars by Julius Caesar is so unreliable that it can't inform our understanding of the past. But if that's the case, we must then accept the far better attested New Testament story, or so the popular argument goes. But that argument is flawed. More manuscripts at best increase our confidence that we have the original version, but that doesn't mean it was history. Far more impressive than a mountain of manuscripts are Egyptian hieroglyphics and Mesopotamian clay tablets that are not only older but original. No one would argue that their mythology must be accurate simply because they're original, and the same would apply if we had the New Testament's original. Let's return to those 25,000 manuscripts. The originals of every New Testament book were written in Greek, but most of these manuscripts are translations into other languages. A translation means an extra layer of interpretation. Discard these, and we're down to 5,800 Greek manuscripts. Now consider when these manuscripts were written. The chart below shows the number of Greek New Testament manuscript copies by century. The 12th century has the most, with 1,090 manuscripts. The printing press was invented in the middle of the 15th century, which explains the drop on the right of the chart. There are 100 manuscripts from the first 4 centuries, though many of these are just papyrus scraps of less than a page. The first substantial manuscripts with dozens of chapters date to around 200 CE. Only when we get to the 4th century do we find complete, or nearly so, copies of the New Testament. Our view into the past is so hazy that even when they were written is just an educated guess. When historians weigh evidence, they want the oldest and most reliable manuscripts. The vast majority of the manuscripts shown in the chart are irrelevant, so our 5,800 Greek manuscripts have shrunk to the oldest 100 or so from which scholars make their best guess at the originals. Whether we have 1,090 copies from the 12th century, or 10 times that number, manuscripts that late don't inform the recreation of the New Testament originals. The New Testament does have the most copies, but this isn't the evidence many think. What do you think? Add a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. To read the text of this chapter with references, go to 2minutechristianity.com and search for this chapter. Or buy the book and get all 50 chapters at once. Thanks for your interest.